desire. Keep your eye on the highest frequency of love and know that you are held. That is my prayer.
Putting out a call to the warrior in you, to the healer in you, the king, the queen, the magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember, always who you are. Yes. Yes. I am love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am love, yes, power. Yes. I am love, yes, I am love, wisdom, power. Yes, yes, I am love, wisdom, power. Master. Yes, I am. Yes, love, wisdom, power. Yes, I am. Say yes, to yourself. Yes, I am protected. Yes, yes, I am. Master. I am. Yes.
Hello, Dr. Love and Rising Sun. How are you, gentlemen? So, I guess Diana is opening. I'm beginning. Is that well? This is what I think I have to offer that would be meaningful for the audience. And I've used alchemical principles for years as a tool or foundation for life skills. And the second principle is correspondence, and that means there are many correlations and expressions of the same thing. So there are many, many things that the kidney energy rules over. It originates in the water element, our ancestral energy, and Dr. Love last week began talking about it from a social, historical point of view. And it seemed like before the eclipse that it was really stimulating that some of people's experiences about the relationship between their kidney energy and their sexuality. And the audience didn't have an opportunity to ask questions. So he has very gracefully consented to return. And I see where Rising Sun has extended the subject matter to hair and skin and teeth, which all extend from kidney energy. All of this has to do. So this is how I think people may commonly be aware of correspondences as the principle of rulership, that this is the same thing, this is the same energy expressing itself in many, many, many different ways. So the audience is invited to put their questions in the chat. And Dr. Love, I think you might want to open if you've had some afterthoughts about last week, things that you might not have had an opportunity to express, please do. And after he does that, I see his contact information is in the chat. He is a teacher of Qigong and sexual Qigong. He's an acupuncturist, a doctor of Chinese medicine with decades of experience. I'm going to get out the way and open the floor to Dr. Love to addendum anything that he did not have an opportunity to last week, and for Rise and Sun to coordinate the questions from the chat to give the listener an opportunity to ask questions. Good evening, Dr. George Xavier Love.
Diana Farr. It's a pleasure to see your visage one more.
And here.
The only time I can actually talk to you is in a Zoom.
Well, that's one of the things that Rise and Sun's platform has been doing. He's been creating a lot of reunions between those of us that have been at this work for decades. So,
let me break this down. So first of all, I want to say I'm a doctor of Asian medicine, and I was able to trace from Kemet to Greece to China, from Kemet to Persia to India, from Kemet to Rome to Byzantium to Afghanistan to Tibet. So ancient Kemetic medicine spread all over the world. Now, in the 9th century, Tibet held medical contests inviting all these people in to share their knowledge. And from that, they came up with something called the 4 treatises. We call it Tibetan medicine, but I call it Egyptian or Kemetic medicine, because as it spread, and then the Tibetans pulled it all together. So even though the things I'm going to tell you are, in fact, Tibetan / Chinese / Ayurveda, is actually the origin of it is actually Kemet. So having said that, there are 3 parts to the Chinese kidney. There's kidney Qi, there's kidney Yin, and there's kidney Yang. Kidney Qi is affected by hot and cold. So if you work in a kitchen, the heat will cook your kidneys. If you work in a refrigerated area, then the cold will affect your kidneys. If you do excessive sitting, such as driving Uber or truck driving, or working in a home office or at a call center, the compression will affect your kidneys. If you excessive standing, if you're a security guard or a beat cop or a postal delivery person, there's a lot of walking. Okay, so those things will affect your kidneys. Then there's kidney Yin, which is the actual filtration function of the kidneys. And then there's kidney Yang, which is the hormonal function of the kidneys. Now, the kidneys control the head hair, the brain, the memory, the nails, the skin, the teeth, the bones, the bone marrow, the joints, and the sex drive. So the kidneys control all these different parts of the body. And we don't have a clue about this because it's not our culture to understand that the kidneys control different parts of the body. And you can damage that with your behavior, with your diet, and with your fear and anxiety. So we live in a country where if you have dark skin and you walk out of your door, you could get shot just because of your skin color. It has nothing to do with your proclivity to criminality, drugs, behavior. You could just get shot, okay? So a lot of people have a fear. They take their life in their hands when they leave the house. So that fear causes the kidneys to shrink up. Now, when a little kid is scared, he pees in his pants. When an adult is scared, what do, Diana?
Well, they do many things. I mean, in
In their
this
pants.
society, they ruminate, they eat, they vent. They generally manage that energy in some external way. I don't know if
Okay,
that was the answer
they
you
poo
were
in their
looking
pants
for, but
because we say they are scared whatless.
shitless.
Okay, so the kidneys control the urogenital system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the liver controls the external genitalia, the kidneys control the internal genitalia. So your birth canal is the preferred term rather than vagina, and birth chamber is the preferred term over uterus, because that is the actual function. Birth canal, birth chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, having described the nails, the teeth, the bones, the bone marrow, the joints, the fluid, the filtration function, the bladder, and tears, all that is kidneys. So if anything goes wrong with your body, so let me put it to you in another way. The liver controls the muscles and the tendon. The heart controls the tongue and the voice. The spleen controls the flesh and the fat. And the lungs control the nose and the breath.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is the kidneys. So hearing, your ears, the bottom of your feet, all that is kidneys. So the kidneys
That's
control.
extraordinary.
Okay. Now, your conversation with me started with sex drive. But if you have fear or anxiety, or you are dehydrated, or you sit too much, all that is going to affect your sex drive. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So if you're a young lady, and I'm going to tell you a personal story. I was, I don't know, 28 years old. She was 25 years old. And I was hot to trot, and I was like calling her, and we're going to get together. And then the day we were supposed to get together, because I'm thinking this is the day I'm going to get it, she said, I can't. I said, what do you mean you can't? She says, I'm 5 pounds overweight, and I don't like the way I look naked. So you cannot come and we cannot have sex. And I'm like, 5 pounds overweight? How much do you weigh? 110? If you're 115, I don't care. She's like, nope. I'm going to wait until I lose the 5 pounds and then we'll get together. So, of course, this is 50 years ago. So, all I can say is that people have issues about the way they look naked, and that can affect their sex drive. Does that relate to you? Can you relate to that, Diane?
Are you asking me that? I'm not going to ask it. Are you asking me that personally? I know
I'm
you're
asking
not.
you personally, can you relate to that?
I know you're not asking me that personally. I'm an elder. That's not an appropriate question for an elder woman.
I don't mean this moment. I meant when you were.
I'm not going to answer it then either. And I think that we can all appreciate the relationship between body image and how we identify with our appeal. But the original conversation that I initiate was actually about Jing and essence.
Jing in essence. Okay.
Yes, and I am going to call on Rising Sun has disappeared, and I really need him to come back because I want the audience to have an opportunity. I need him to manage. Rising Sun?
You want him to look in the chat and see what
Yes,
questions are.
because that was the plan, that he would be here and he would manage the chat and people would have an opportunity to ask questions. As I had a conversation with him earlier, another thing that draws on your kidney energy is when you're overextended, energy wise, and you're burning personal fuel. I actually must go. I don't know what happened to Rising Sun. Let me call him.
Okay, I see the chat.
Here we are. All righty.
I can answer the
Rising
question.
Sun, I think Dr. Love has given a really comprehensive. You can't hear me? Am I muted?
No, I can hear you.
Dr. Love can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. All right. So, so let's talk about Jing or essence. So in Chinese medicine, there's something called the three treasures. There's Shen, which is the musculoskeletal and the neuroendocrine system. There's Qi, which is the circulatory and the cardiovascular system. And there's Jing or essence, which is both the reproductive and the digestive system. So the hormones are manufactured from what you eat. So if you eat crappy food, you get crappy hormones. And there are no one over 40 whose hormones are balanced. And of course, I'm generalizing.
Dr. Love, excuse me. Rising Sun just put up a message. Please let me know if you can hear me speaking.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Now we can.
Now we can hear you.
Now we can.
Okay. I want to say before you continue, Doc, Diana, thank you for setting the energy, because it was so beautiful sitting back and watching the water and the earth interplay energetically post eclipse oceanside conversation. So Diana, it was so graceful and I was enjoying. I had to go and get my microphone. I'm using my backup computer, so that's why it's perfect. Doc, let it rock.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Love, just your beginning. I have so many people that I want, that if they are not here, that I want to send the recording to, so they can get the correlations between different aspects of their symptoms and the origin of those symptoms. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, audience. Take advantage of the presence of this brilliant man.
And
he
Diana,
is a walking archive. Ask your questions. Yes, Rising Sun, beloved.
it is a packed house tonight. How can people reach you before you take flight to the moon tonight?
People can reach me at D as in David, P as in Peter, H as in R, H as in Harry, A as in Apple, R as in Run, 8 at AOL.com. And let me move myself out the way and let Dr. Love continue. Good night, beloveds.
Good night. Good night.
Night. Yo, Doc, we gonna rock. Okay, family, put us in the chat, please. Post where you are listening from and your questions. But you were speaking on something real crucial just now, Dr. Love, and I want you to please continue. Again, I want to thank Diana Farr for setting the feminine Shakti precedents.
Okay. So the Jing, or the essence, is basically hormone production. So between 1 and 3 a.m., thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, is produced. Between 1 and 3 a.m. is the liver time. The kidney time, the positive kidney time, is between 5 and 7 p.m. The deficient kidney time is between 5 and 7 a.m. Now, without getting too complicated, there is a circulation, there's a 24-hour circulation of chi through the body. So the height of the kidneys is between 5 and 7 p.m., which is at the end of the day. Now, if you lived in England, 5 p.m. would be tea time. If you lived in France, 5 p.m. would be tea time. If you lived in Nigeria, 5 p.m. would be tea time. If you live in India, 5 p.m. would be tea time. So 5 p.m. tea time kidneys is kind of universal. Now, if you had designs on a young lady and you had in your mind that you were going to pursue her in a sexually energetic way, you would want to set the tone between 5 and 7, so that between 7 and 9, you'd be in the preparatory phase. And around 11, 10:30, 11 would be the ideal time to make love, even though the kidney time is between 5 and 7. Now, there's several issues around sexual energy. So one, obviously, is foreplay. And we know that the kidneys control the brain. And we know that sex is 80% in your brain. So the Jing is connected to the brain. The kidneys are connected to the brain. Now, the number one drive in humans is survival. The number two drive is reproduction. Our culture is completely wackadoodle. The people who live in the West, the people who were born and raised in this country in Northern America, and I'm talking about Americanized Africans. I'm not talking about Africans. I'm talking about Americanized Africans, have a Eurocentric viewpoint, a colonized mind. So what we think is healthy sex is not. So first of all, you have to cultivate sexual energy. And then number two, you have to have an intention for your sexual desire. And that desire is supposed to be reproduction, because we're supposed to have a family to create and build a community. It's not about getting off. And that's unfortunately what most young men believe, is that their whole point of sex is just to get off. And therefore they shortchange women, and then women obviously feel shortchanged, and then they like, sorry, the kitchen is closed, you can't come in, forget it. And then there's conflict, and then there's this war between men and women.
Doc, what you just said, there is a war when I don't know what it is about American marriage, but I hear so many stories. And it started with Nick Yama. Nick Yama first told me, he said, when marriage was introduced and women would play the game of, well, if you don't dump the trash, you're not getting none tonight. He said that was the invention of prostitution.
Kind of, sort of. Kind of,
wow.
sort of.
So please continue.
Okay. So I'm talking about current day. I'm talking about 2020. All right. When I was growing up in the late 60s, early 70s, women were like, I'm saving it. I'm saving it. And the ones who didn't save it
were then labeled and what's the word, slut shamed by their female friends as hoes and whatever. So there was not an allowing of a positive sexual expression, and a lot of people felt left out because white people were having this sexual revolution. But the downside of that sexual revolution was dun dun dun, sexually transmitted diseases, which eventually became uterine cancer, which eventually became HIV. So the creation of the mentality that sex is a free-for-all and there's no consequences because we have condoms. What we don't realize is that there was an engineered thing by the Rockefeller Foundation, and I have the receipts to prove that. I'm not making wild claims. This was an engineered thing to put women in the workplace so they didn't have to pay them as much, and then they could siphon their salary by selling them stockings and lipstick and perfume and brassieres and whatnot.
And tax them.
And tax them, and they don't have to get married because there is birth control and condoms. Whereas before, if a woman was having a relationship with a guy, there's a 50-50 chance she was going to get pregnant. So therefore, there was a lot of forced marriages. So women want attention. They don't want sex. They want attention. And guys can't pay attention to themselves. So how are they going to give attention to women when they can't even pay attention to themselves? So then women feel shortchanged. And then some women feel the only way to keep a guy's attention is to have sex, or the only way to hold on to a guy is to have a baby. So this is the war that I'm talking about, the war between men and women. And men want to control women. Women want to control men. Women are developing masculine tendencies. Men are developing feminine tendencies. And the whole thing is wackadoodle. So if we, as the elders, want to guide the youth, we have to take a step back and say, look, what was going on right here, this is not healthy. This is absolutely not healthy. So when Diana said, I want to talk about Jing, I didn't get a chance to ask her, was she talking about sexual stamina? Because my female patients over 50 are complaining that their men just don't have the stamina.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it, Doc. Let's talk about how us men can stay iron hard all night long.
Okay, so in sexual Qigong, there's something called the Jade Dragon, and it is a particular behavior pattern to develop the hardness and the stamina to last for 60 minutes. The average American male lasts 6 to 10 minutes. 6 to 10. It takes the average female 25 minutes to orgasm. 25 minutes. So if you're only lasting 6 minutes, you got 19 minutes of foreplay, some good ass foreplay, if you're only going to last 6 minutes. Okay, you figure out the math. So if you last 10 minutes, you got to do 15 minutes of foreplay. Now, for my money, it's an hour of foreplay and 2 hours of sex for my money. But then some people have high sex drive, some people have low sex drive. It's luck of the dice. There's no standard, all women respond to this, all men respond to that. All women have high or low. There's a range, and there's no rating. There's no rating. But what we do know is that little girls at age 4 have been found masturbating. And little boys at age 6 have been found masturbating. So that sexual energy starts really young with no input from the parents, or unless the parents are watching porn, which I doubt. But be that as it may, sexual energy starts really young. Now, how does that play out? How does that go? Now, if a little girl is caught playing with herself and her mother comes in the room and she's like, bad girl, and shames her, then that shuts down any feeling she has. Or if you were raised Catholic, you were told sex is bad, sex is bad, sex is bad. Oh, now you can get married. Sex is good. I'm sorry. 13, 14, 15 to 28, you've been telling me sex is bad. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to enjoy sex? Yeah, that's not working.
Yeah, that don't work.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things wrong. And I know American women who've gone to Africa and married African men, and African men foreplay. What's that? We just lay down, open your legs. I'm going to hit it for about 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm done. And if you get pregnant, good. And if you don't get pregnant, it's also good. So African men have no conception of pleasing a woman sexually.
Yo, I'm going to respond as Chris Tucker would say. Damn!
Yeah. So it's pretty messed up. It's pretty messed up everywhere. Okay. Now, I have friends who were born and raised in the Philippines, and 1 bedroom, 8 children, 6 children in 1 bedroom. So by the time they're like 12, 13, they're like, damn, dad's hitting it again? Mom, do we need another kid, Mom? Really? And so they already know everything by the time and they can't wait to get out of the house. They can't wait to get a job and get their own place and get away from the craziness of mom and dad. But that's how it is. I don't know how it is in Russia. I don't know how it is in Poland, but I know there's certain cultures where sex is open, and I know other cultures where sex is closed. Now, in Scandinavia, sex is open. Parents have sex in front of the kids, and the kids are like, damn, Mom, can you okay, I'm going to go for a walk. So everybody's different, but we're all wackadoodle because we are what we see. And if we see stupid stuff on TV and the movies and sitcoms, and I never forget Buffy the Vampire Slayer. 4:00 in the afternoon, my daughter was 13 years old. I'm watching TV, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the show opens with Buffy in bed with another girl. And I was like, wait, turn that off. She's like, no, that's my show. I'm like, no, turn that off. You can't watch 2 girls being in bed with each other. Yeah, you have no control over this. And your kids listen to the radio. I'm going to beat that, smack that. You can't cover their ears. You cannot listen to the radio in your car or play any of that stuff at home.
You know what? You bring up something, Dr. Love, that I've been observing in news streams, that countries that have suppressed sexual expression, people turn to bestiality. Like they're, a bunch of, and it wasn't like 1 or 2. I'm talking about widespread commentary about where there's religious suppression of sexual expression, sexual deviance. It goes off the chain.
So shepherds, having not access to young ladies, would do the sheep or the sheep, whatever it is. So I know in China, it's not, you can't approach a woman because she's got a whole family. So how do you solve your sexual urges? You have sex with animals. That became a thing because families protected their women, especially in Islamic societies. Women were covered up because they didn't want somebody putting hands on their girl and dragging them down the hallway. We're not going for that. So that is why they cover their women. I understand why. I don't have to agree with to the extent that they do it, but it's not my culture and it's none of my damn business. People do whatever they do in their country, in their culture, in their religion. I'm only concerned about the Americanized Africans and how we can decolonize the mind. Okay? That's what I want to do. Decolonize the mind so we can have a healthy, sacred energy exchange. Now, I teach something called sacred sex. I get a lot of inquiries. I want to take the course. I want to take the course. And I'm like, let me tell you what the homework is. The first 3 months, you're not going to have any sex. The first 3 months, you're going to do massage. And you're not going to be able to touch the little parts that you want to touch, because that cultivates the energy. So I tell people what the homework is the first 3 months. So they'll know, so they won't drop out later on. So you know what the homework is. There's no sex the first 3 months. And guess what? 1 out of 10 couples sign up. 9 out of 10 couples don't sign up because they like having sex and they want to have better sex. But the way to cultivate that sexual energy is to fast from sex for 3 months. Whoa. So the Jing requires the diet. Now, we've all heard of aphrodisiacs. We've heard of oysters and chickpeas and all kinds of things. They're not actually aphrodisiacs. They're energy tonics. They're energy tonics. So watermelon, blueberries, stewed chicken. And I'm not talking about American chicken. I'm talking about down home Mississippi chicken from like 50, 60 years ago, or way longer, 80, 90 years ago.
Doc, this is so crucial what you're sharing, because now the trend is people making their own beer without the addition of hops, because it was the Vatican that pushed the moving hops into beer, which is in Budweiser, Heineken. And what that does is it causes estrogen instead of testosterone. And the pre-Vatican beer of Europe, the women and the wives would tell the men, also in Africa, they would tell the men, go drinking so they can come home and bone the wives till sun up. But when the Vatican got involved with beer and said that natural copulation is sinful, they told them to put hops in the beer, and that's why you have people with beer bellies today. But now there's a pushback for people making beer without hops.
That's good to know. Thank you for that.
Thank you. You got me all fired up. I want to make me some maca beer, Jack. Please continue about the brew, bro.
The brew. Okay. So alcohol lowers inhibitions. So there's a certain amount, and everybody's different, that will lower your inhibitions so that you can have a conversation. Women prefer conversation to actual touch. So if a man doesn't have a good conversation, he's never going to get with a woman. He's got to have a conversation. which means he has to be about something. It means he has to be well read. And our culture is anti-education. So my little cousins, when they went to school in Orlando, Florida, the other Black kids in their classroom accused them of trying to be white because their mother said, you better get all A's in school. And the other Black kids are like, no, if you get all A's, you trying to be white. I'm not trying.
Miseducation of the Negro on steroids. For real.
Exactly. Miseducation of the Negro. Exactly. So my cousin went to the school, volunteered, and sat in the classroom. And every time she saw these kids acting out, she was like, you're not going to graduate, you're not going to get a good job, and your parents are going to kick you out, and you're going to be homeless. So you better learn how to read. And I'm here to help you. So if you want to learn to read, we'll go over here in the corner. I'm going to teach you how to read. So my cousin became like a reading teacher. And even after her kids graduated from high school, she stayed at that school another 10 years. So she single-handedly helped hundreds of kids. And this is what I mean about decolonizing the mind. Unless we go out of our way to lift people up, we're never going to know.
Doc, I got to interject. One of the things about miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson, I believe, wrote the book, is Ivy League schools don't teach that garbage called new math. They teach another form of math called Vedic math. And I'm going to type this in, family, because the young kids today realize the Rockefeller style education is bullshit. Mm-hmm. So Vedic math, family, listen, Vedic math will allow you to figure out adding to calculus in your head with simple formulas that rhyme. And this is what Ivy League schools and private schools teach. They don't teach that long, stretched out form of math that is taught in public schools. Also, the public schools don't teach about finance. They don't teach about taxes, and they don't teach healthy forms of how young men in their prime need to learn about sexual cultivation. Touch on that, please.
That is true. So I can't speak to math because like I said, my mother was an English teacher. My father was a biology teacher. I was good at math, but I can't speak to teaching because my father made me memorize my times tables in the 5th grade. And I hated it, and I hated him.
That's
and
awesome.
I was miserable my whole 5th grade year. But after I graduated from high school, I'm so glad I memorized my timetables because I never get cheated in the store. I never get cheated at the cash register. I never get cheated in the restaurant because I can do math in my head.
Math, music, martial arts.
Bingo.
Those are the 3 M's for every man, child, born, parents. Teach your children, your male sons, martial arts, math, and music.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Love, because we're in a society that they're trying to make the male principal. Oh, he doesn't have to do that. Joey, what are you doing in the garage? Get the hell out of here, Mom. I'm making a bomb.
Pretty much.
Special shout out to the comedian Lavelle Crawford. I think his name is Lavelle Crawford. But go ahead, Doc. We got to have you here once a month. Family, if you would like to have Dr. Love here once a month teaching these sacred sciences and recipes, make comments, show your support.
Yeah, if you want to hear, more pearls of wisdom. Okay, so uh solar plexus.
You was talking about the things that increase testosterone so you can bone all night long.
Oh, right. Okay, thank you. So so there's something called Kegel exercises for men. So they're at the base of the penis, there's a spongy material that holds blood, and then there's a muscle group that pushes the blood into the penis. Now, the brain sends the blood to the penis so that when you are aroused, the blood is already there. If the blood isn't there, the arousal doesn't work, which is why fellatio, however you pronounce it, is such a big thing, because people don't know. They don't know. So there's no intention, there's no desire, there's no actual spiritual desire to connect with Irene. You know, we're just like whoever is available. And that's clearly, that's wackadoodle. That's not spiritual. If I have a thing for Irene, then I need to let Irene know. And so therefore, if and when that opportunity presents itself, then the arousal, boom, I'm ready for Irene. Okay. Now, if you don't do squats, if you don't run up and down stairs, if you don't know how to hold your breath, and you don't do men's Kegels, you're not going to have the stamina. Now, I'm just throwing little things out there. It's an actual training program, just like if you wanted to learn how to play tennis or play the piano. It's a training program. I'm just throwing some things out there. You can't just take my words and like, oh, that's all I got to do? No. They say drummers do it better. Why do drummers do it better? Because they know how to keep the beat. You got to do the stroke. You got to do the stroke. If you can't stroke, so some guys tell me, I think about golf. Golf is really boring. I hate golf. So when I'm stroking, I'm thinking about golf. I'm like, okay, dude, whatever floats your boat. I'm not going to tell you that that's wrong. Another thing is people tell me, I do semen retention. And I'm like, oh yeah, tell me about that. Oh yeah, I haven't had sex in 3 months. And that's semen retention? No, I'm sorry. Semen retention is having sex every day and not ejaculating. That's semen retention. So I'm not going to argue with anybody about this. I'm trained by a Taoist master.
Well, you know, a lot of women haven't been educated. They think you gotta let go of all your dilithium liquid crystals for you to enjoy, to have pleasure. Could you share with the audience, Doc, the difference between orgasm and ejaculation?
I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, now it's a training. It's a training. You will not be able to figure it out. Ejaculation is not orgasm. Ejaculation is ejaculation. Orgasm takes place in the head. Ejaculation takes place down here. Now, I want you to think of your entire skin tingling in anticipation of the woman of your dreams just rubbing her naked body all over you. That visual and that physical stimulation, that's an orgasm. You ejaculating, that's taking you down. And what happens when you go down? You fall asleep. 90% of guys, after they ejaculate, they fall asleep. And how do women feel? They're like, let's go for a walk. Talk to me. Let's paint. Let's go in the kitchen and make some quiche. women are like, they're wide awake, and guys are like, because they've depleted themselves. So clearly, ejaculation is not what you want to do. Now, first question, if you want to make a baby, you should ejaculate. If you don't want to make a baby, what should you not do? So you don't want to ejaculate if you don't want to have a baby. Now, there's two other things I want to bring in here. Number one is the rhythm method. So the Catholic Church was promoting how not to get pregnant and not use birth control. So a woman can only get pregnant when the egg drops from the ovary down the fallopian tubes into the uterus. And it takes about 3 days for the egg to drop. If the egg is not fertilized within 3 days, then the lining of the uterus sloughs off. So the lining of the uterus engorges when the egg drops from the ovary. So 1 month, this ovary, next month, this. So the ovaries alternate dropping the egg. Now, in order to not get pregnant, we're going to add 2 days before and 2 days after. So that means 7 days you cannot have sex out of 28. So I'm giving you time to think about that. So the 3 days, 2 days before, 2 days after, that's 7 days. Now, a man could ejaculate and then the egg could drop 12 hours later. Or the lining could start to slough off, but the egg is still there, even though the lining is starting to slough off, and a man could ejaculate and the egg is still caught, the egg hasn't dropped out through the cycle. So you can get pregnant while you're on your period. You could get pregnant, or the man could ejaculate before the egg actually drops, and then you could get pregnant before the egg even gets to the birth chamber. Okay, so that's why we take 7 days. So 28 days, there's 7 days you cannot have sex. So now, if your girl is regular, which is problematic because given all the hormones and the chemicals in the food and whatnot, she may not be regular. But if she's regular, you mark that off on the calendar. Yep, 28th of this month, 28th of this. So now I know she's regular, and I'm going to cross off these 7 days, and then I can have sex without using birth control. Now, what about sexually transmitted diseases? If you date for 3 months before you have sex, which would be a culturally positive thing to do, then you know you're not going to get a sexually transmitted disease. And then you say, you know what? Let's go visit the gynecologist. And then you'll be tested and I'll be tested. So you've waited 3 months. You've established a relationship. You waited 3 months. Now you go get tested and you know you're both clean. And now you're free to have sex if you want. But that's not building. That's selfish. I just want to have sex. That's selfish. You should be thinking about building a community. And why? Because they're trying to kill us. They're doing everything in their power to kill us. They don't want to educate us. They don't want us to get housing. They don't want us to get good jobs. So before the police shoot us or any random Rambo crazy dude shoots us, they've already tried to kill us in the hospital. They tried to kill us by not educating us, not allowing us to get good jobs, not allowing us to get housing or access to any of the benefits of the greater society. So they're trying to actively kill us, whether this individual John Smith, Jane Doe, it's not individual white people that are trying to kill us. It's the system is designed to kill us. So we should be specific in finding the woman that we want to build with, and then think about having children. Okay? Because we're putting sex ahead because the music is all about, oh, baby, 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 I want you so bad. And on some level, coming out post-slavery, that's okay.
Yeah, now you have the record companies being owned by the prison industrial complex. And they push gangster rap and this music for the purpose of having new slavery in the prison system. It's all being exposed.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So the music that we're exposed to, that they control what's on the radio, they control what artists put out. I met Julian Marley in 93, 94. I met Julian Marley in 1994. He was living on South Beach. I was living on South Beach. And I said, why don't you make music like your dad? He said, you think I haven't tried that? There's no company that will allow me to record. They don't want me to even make R&B love songs. They want me to make this death, murder, kill music.
Yeah, because they don't play revolutionary reggae no more. The reggae nowadays sound like garbage.
Exactly. And that's by design. The record companies, like you said, the prison industrial complex, the school to prison pipeline. In the 90s, they were already deciding we don't want any positive music. We want zero positive music. So Julian Marley starved for 10 years. He had to go to Europe to find somebody to make music with. His career didn't jump in the US. It jumped in Europe.
Wow.
And then he came back to the US. So yeah, this whole thing is by design.
And now you see these mass shootings of young white people, young white boys. They don't want to say that it's a combination of them, and they love listening to this gangster rap. They love it. And little Johnny and little Bobby is getting hold of those AK-47s and then getting filled up with the pharmaceutical drugs because he doesn't have an attention span. And then what happens? He's going home and killing the mother, the father. It's all over the news, Doc. Little Bobby in a white America is now listening to gangster rap and doing damage to the white community.
90% of the purchasers of Black music are young white teenagers. 90%. We're not buying that music. They are. So I will never forget, what's his name? Wow, it's killing me. 2021, New Year's Eve, Boca Raton, which is like Boca Raton Country Club, had a Black rapper, Hova? Yes, it was Hova. And my friends went, and they said there was not one Black person in the audience. Of course, the tickets were 150. There were 3,000 people there
Wow.
at the White Country Club, New Year's Eve. 3,000 people, not one Black person there.
Wow.
That just blew me away. 150, it's not a lot of money if you want to see Hova. Yeah.
Hey, Doc, I don't know how your time is. Right now, we just passed an hour, and there are some questions.
Yeah, we didn't answer any questions.
Yeah,
okay.
let me and family, I want to thank you for being patient. Here's some top of the questions. I did not see. Okay. The first one is Andre Cook saying, can he speak on kidney transplants, anti-rejection medicine?
Okay, so I am a doctor of Asian medicine. We don't use drugs. We don't do kidney transplants. So you're outside of my realm. You're outside my realm. If you're on the list for a kidney transplant, I can help you. If you have kidney malfunction, I can help you. But once you get that transplant, once you've had that surgery, it's out of my hands.
What about Qigong? Would Qigong be helpful after kidney transplants?
Qigong would be helpful for any post-surgical recovery. Yeah.
Because I never forgot that story you said that this person was somewhere and they were doing the Qigong all day. I don't know if it was prison or the hospital, and they were the only one who survived. Share that again, Doc.
Okay, so that was my master who was imprisoned in China during the Cultural Revolution, and he was beaten and tortured every day for 8 years just because he was teaching Qigong. So I said, how did you survive? He said, I did Qigong 8 to 10 hours a day.
Woo! Man, that's inspirational.
So whenever I feel bad, whenever I feel low, whenever I stayed up all night, whenever I didn't eat right, I went to visit the family and hung out and ate crappy food, I start thinking about my master. And I'm like, that was a one of. I won't do that again till next year.
I want to acknowledge, Doc, what you're speaking of is so crucial because so many people flopping and dropping. Grandmaster Alan Lee is somewhere over 140 years old, still has a dojo in Manhattan, and he would teach the brothers. I think it was called Wushu, but he was doing Qigong to the point that the young men were taught how to project their Qi. And when they would copulate with their girlfriends, they said it felt like a hot iron from the collection of the Qi. And he also taught the martial artists how to punch cinder blocks and make them explode from the Qi. Is that really possible, Doc?
Absolutely. All the crazy stuff you've heard is all possible, but it requires training. And then I have to ask, what's your intention in learning how to explode a brick? What's your intention with that? Master Lee said, I can teach you how to walk on water, but what's that going to do for you? He said, it'll take you 5 years, but I can teach you how to walk on water. Do you want to spend 5 of your years of your life learning how to walk on water? Then what? What are you going to do with that? So we do the wrong things for the wrong reason. Okay? So making things explode. So one of my favorite things is called dim mak. So dim mak.
Tell us what that is.
So the death touch, and then the person would drop dead 24 hours later. So of course I had to ask Master Lee, is that true? And he said, yes. So I said, can you explain it? He said, if you know the meridian system, then you know at what time the two meridians cross. And then if you engage your opponent at the correct time, like 2:15 in the afternoon, then you have to engage him in battle, and then you have to hit the right point at the right time, and then 24 hours later, they'll explode. So A, you'd have to memorize the meridian, and B, you'd have to set them up at the right time.
Yeah.
Imagine the thing that's going to go into place. What are we going to do? He's coming at 3. That's like, what's the point? What's the point of that?
I just want to know how to take the heat off the head.
Okay, Doc, here's one for you, boy. I'm gonna tell you, and then we're going to continue with the questions. So many women, Black women, have been in their fake masculine energy, where they build up excessive heat in their head, and to the point that it becomes uncomfortable, and they want to know how do they get all that fire out of their head.
Okay. Yes, there's a way to do that, but it's everybody's different. You'd have to come in, and I'd have to see you, and I'd have to see which meridians are involved,
Grab that mic.
because you got multiple meridians. So off the top of my head, it would be the liver meridian, because the liver energy opens into the eyes, and the heat has a tendency to rise. And of course, women will give you that eye. But then again, it might be the pericardial meridian. It might be the penetrating meridian. It could be any number of meridians. So I'd have to figure out which meridian in order to bring the fire down.
I got a sister right now working on her feet because her head is so much fire, she almost bald-headed. Go ahead.
I went to acupuncturist the other day, and he told me I had a lot of heat in my head, and he said it was coming from my heart.
Ooh.
So I trying to figure out things I can do.
Fire. That's called heart fire. So the question is, why do you have heat in your heart?
I've been suffering from a lot of anxiety.
That's kidneys. Why is there heat in your heart?
Things that make you go,
Okay, so what is the function of the heart besides circulating blood?
Love.
Okay.
Sure.
Say it again.
Love.
Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
Why is there heat in your love energy?
Express that love, baby. And you know what, Doc? You just hit on something real powerful, because she was talking about someone that she really, really loves and hasn't expressed it yet. Testify, sister. They can't see your face.
Yeah. I haven't told him. And
You have not told him.
No.
Unexpressed expectations leads to heart fire.
Heart fire. Okay.
Woo! And this girl is on fire.
Yeah.
And she ain't no girl.
So how do you think you should express? What would be a healthy way to express it?
I love you, mama.
I guess just being open. I mean, we're really good friends. But I honestly, I think it's more on the I think it's just me tuning back into my passions more. I have noticed that, like, working at my job, that is a lot of my head into it and not my heart. So I feel like it's also that too. So I don't I just in this learning, really learning what it means to take care of myself, and not just physically, but my whole being. And I'm definitely learning this lesson right now.
Okay, can I ask you another personal question? What is it about him that you love?
Um, uh,
Keep it primitive.
he's. I like that we are completely ourselves, and there's no there's no judgment in our connection. It's very, like, we can be childlike, we can be uh have all kinds of conversations. Um, we help each other elevate, and we also ground each other. So um, I really appreciate that about him.
Oh, you forgot to tell the real juicy stuff.
What's the juicy stuff?
Remember you said, oh, it was off the charts on the night shift, Doc. I'm keeping it GP. Remember? Yes, you did when you do your dream work.
Oh, okay.
Doc, you gotta hear this. Tell it, sister.
Okay, so we never was physically intimate. I had a dream about him that we had sex, and when I woke up from the dream, I was really upset by it, and I actually stopped talking to him for a while, because I was just dealing with some internal issues. It wasn't really him, but before that, he kept telling me that he was having dreams of him having sex with a lot of his women friends. So
But you weren't on that list.
I wasn't. And then I had the dream twice with him. About a year later, we reconnected, and he told me that around the same time, it probably was the same day when I had the dream about me and him having sex. He also had the dream that I came into his dream and was offering sex.
Oh, you didn't say offering. You told him we're gonna get busy.
Yes, I told him, like, let's have sex. And he told me when he woke up, and he was like, he had, at the time with his girlfriend, she was like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're cheating. And she left him for that. So I don't know.
Whoa.
So I don't know.
Oh, so that's what we call emotional. It wasn't physical, it was emotional.
Okay.
And Doc, her feet are heating up. She's starting to sweat off her feet like she's going to pee through her toes.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so may I ask you one more question?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 33.
So you are desiring of having children and family?
I am.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay, so what you should offer is an exploratory conversation.
Okay. He is in a relationship though right now.
Well then, that's awkward.
Right. So it's like so I'm like, and he seems really happy. So I'm like, okay.
Well, you better get busy with the dream work, girl.
So where can you displace the heat in your heart in a healthy way?
In a healthy way. I've been, one of the things that's been coming to me, and like, is to, this is gonna be random, but like, I need to hug more. Like, I need to hug my mother more. I need to be way more show more affection. And when I do things, make sure that I'm doing it from the heart. Like earlier, I was cleaning, And at first it was like in my head, and something in me was like enjoy doing it.
Wow.
Like
Mhm.
do it with enjoyment. And so I'm like learning to, because I used to think that you can only find enjoyment like in your passion, and I'm learning that no, it's the other way. You can find passion in anything. So like just practicing like living from the heart, and in all things and not just in one area.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm at.
And Dr. Love, she prepared my place for Adara to come in and do a presentation and private sessions, and she changed my place from a doghouse along with my nephew to a place that looks like a normal human being lives.
Wow.
So
Wow.
your conversation tonight is in alignment with what Adara is going to be doing tomorrow out of my place and on Saturday. So this is why it was
Really?
so awesome, the timing.
Wow.
Can't make this up.
Okay, that sounds awesome. You told me about Adara. Yes, you
Yeah,
did.
she's the touchless, bliss gasmic shaman tantrika.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
Doc, you got a question from Ethan's dad. Is there a way to get my mom off of dialysis?
Okay. So the question is there a way?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there's a way. But how do we do that? There is a way. But your real question is, how do I get my mom off of dialysis? So obviously her kidneys have failed, otherwise she wouldn't be on dialysis. So how do we repair the kidneys? Is there an easy way? Obviously not. There's no easy way to repair the kidneys. But is there a way? Yes, there's a way. Is there a way to get your mom to Florida? Is there a way to support your mom during the process? Okay. It could take 3 months, it takes 6 months, it could take a year to get her off of dialysis. But yes, there is a way. But you can't, there's no like, oh, take this and she's off of dialysis. So we'd have to see the level of function. Is it 40%, 30%, 20%? Is it both kidneys? And technically, you can live with one kidney. I have patients that were born with one kidney and had half of the one kidney they were born with removed. So she's living with a quarter of a kidney. I met her when she was 18 and a heroin addict. And now she's 45. And she went to nursing school. So she's actually a nurse now. And she comes to see me every year for a week for follow-up treatment. So yes, there is a way, but that's a question we would have to do properly and personally.
Okay, we got another question. Does
Okay.
the kidneys have something to do with periodontal disease?
Yes and no. The kidneys have to do with the teeth. Periodontal disease has to do with the gums. So no, you'd have to treat the gums. I'm going to say no. You'd have to treat the gums. So that means herbs, mostly herbs. And after you treat the gums, yeah, the kidneys have nothing to do with periodontal disease. Okay.
Next question, can hair loss be reversed?
Yes, hair loss can also be reversed. There's a number of Chinese herbal formulas. The famous one is Hoshuwu. You can look that up. But then the more important question is, why did you have hair loss? So we say the kidneys are the root of the head hair. So if you overwater or underwater a plant, the leaves will fall off. So I had a 18-year-old girl she was 15. 15-year-old girl had hair loss, and her hair just fell out in patches. So her dad was a jazz musician who traveled, and her mom stayed at home. I guess she worked, and the mom and dad would fight because when he would go on the road, he would not stay in touch. So the mom couldn't reach him when he was gigging. And of course, the mom thinks, you're cheating on me while you're on the road. And he's like, I doing stuff. I don't have time to check in. And so the daughter was suffering because of the mom and dad fighting. So I called the dad and said, are you concerned about your daughter's health? And obviously her hair. So I said, so forget the mom, just stay in touch with your daughter. Call her every day, same time. Just check in with your daughter every day. 3 months later, all her hair grew back. No
That's amazing.
Acupuncture. Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's because I know what to do. But anyone else would like, oh, take this, take this, take this, take this. She has to come for acupuncture every week. And, I know people that have done that, but that's not ethical.
Wow, thanks for that. Okay, here's the next question. Wouldn't solar plexus muscles stimulate that whole area of internal organs alongside other meditation practices? I don't know. I don't understand the question, but maybe you can, Doc.
The whole area of internal organs. Are you meaning the birth chamber? Are you talking about the birth canal? Are you talking about the anal sphincter muscle? Wouldn't the solar plexus muscle? No, the answer is no.
All right. Okay, moving right along. We got comments. We got a packed house. Let's see if you have a medical question. Hold on, that's what you posted. They're loving the fact that you're even here and they want you to come back. Mm-hmm. It's like a bunch of folks are saying, yeah. Oh, okay, here it is. Dr. Love, I'm a student of acupuncture. Are you doing any training in the art?
Absolutely. So the first year of training is medical Qigong instructor. The second year of training is juventology. Juventology is like reverse aging training, and you learn the muscles, the joints, you learn the acupuncture meridians, you learn the points. I mean, you learn basic Chinese medicine. And then the third year, you become a doctor of energy medicine. So I teach you everything except putting a needle. So we know that Chinese medicine is 5,000 years old. They just started using needles 500 years ago. Mm. They invented stainless steel pins 500 years ago. Before that, there was heat, there's pressure, there's sound, there's magnets, there's other ways of stimulating the meridian. So I teach meridian therapy.
He's in Florida. That's great. She just asked, go ahead, ask him.
Oh, no, I was asking where was your location? Because I literally spoke to a college today about learning Chinese medicine and acupuncture. So
was that Everglades University?
No, Pacific.
Oh, Pacific, yeah, Pacifica College. Mm-hmm. We call it PCOM.
PCOM. Okay.
PCOM for short, but it's Pacifica College of Oriental Medicine. That's why they call it PCOM. Anyway, yeah, PCOM is a 3-year program. It's 30 grand a year. So you're going to drop 90 grand learning that. And if you've got the money and the intention and the jing to do that, then yeah, you should do that.
Yeah, family, I want y'all to see this. I just noticed the bird on your shoulder, Doc. That is so cool. That almost looks like a New Age pirate. That is so cool. Do y'all see on his left shoulder from here? There's a beautiful parakeet. I don't know what kind of bird is that.
It's called a parrotlet. It's the smallest parrot that God designed.
Sounds like one of Ray Charles' singers.
Parrotlets, yeah.
The Raylets.
The Raylet.
The parrotlet. Yeah. Okay. Scrolling through. Let's see. Cash App. They want your Cash App, brother. Let me update this because we got to keep all this information. They want a Cash App and they want an email. You got a packed house, man. Send it to me in a private chat so I can copy and post it and upgrade your banner.
Okay.
And thank you, family, for your generous heart. How many birds you got, Doc?
I have 2. This one is hiding back here.
Oh, look at that birdie. That is too cute. Oh, man. It reminds me. Oh, look. The bird must have known we was talking about him. He just came and jumped on your shoulder.
Yes, he wants attention. I usually play with him in the evening.
Oh.
So
They're real smart.
So let's see. So you want me to send you the Cash App in the chat?
The private chat. You can put it. You can do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
The email. Okay. The email is Qi, which is QI at drqilove.com. I'm going to put that in the chat.
Okay.
Qi at drqilove.com. And then, so I'll send you the Cash App. Let's see. Cash App.
Yeah. Okay, I see it right there. All right, let me see if I can okay. Well, I'm gonna add this to the banner. Let's see. Oh, I can do
Okay, I just sent it to your text.
Oh, good. All right, so bear with me 1 second.
Okay.
Copy, and I'll text myself and send it. So, family, he's taking questions for a little while. While I'm doing this, did you have any more questions?
Somebody said, how do you remove heat from the body? So, so the question is, where is the heat in the body?
Copy.
So where's the heat? Is it in your chest? Is it in your back? Is it in your belly? Is it in your legs? You know, where's the heat? And we have multiple ways of removing heat, but that requires a questionnaire, which then requires an online consultation. Okay.
And do you want to share your email address?
Yeah, it's QI
QI
at
at
DR
DR
QI
QI
LOVE.com.
LOVE.com. Okay, so let me save this and post it. Tell me if this looks correct.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
the questions are coming in. All right, so that's the cash. Oh, we got one about
Hot flashes.
hot flashes. Oh, okay. Somebody asked about my Cash App too. All right, so I'll put that up there too. Thank you. Y'all generous. Appreciate your generosity. $. Let me make sure I do this right.
Hot flashes.
Yeah, hot flashes.
Okay, so I have to assume that you have menopause if you say hot flashes. And then hot flashes is not the correct term because it's not a flash. It comes on slowly. It's sort of like being cooked in the oven. And it kind of comes on slowly. So it's not like a flash. It comes on slowly. So in Chinese medicine, we say that there's heat in the blood. And when the hormones are diminished, they cannot cool the blood. So then the heat is then revealed. So the heat in the blood requires an understanding of, is it liver, kidney, spleen, lung, or heart? So we'd have to check all the meridians to see how the blood is flowing through the meridians. And then we can control the heat because the heat manifests. And that's the same thing with the person that asked about the heat in the chest. Okay. So in the chest, you've got the central channel, you've got the kidney, you've got the stomach, you've got the gallbladder, you've got the liver. So you've got all these different meridians that go through the chest. So we'd have to understand which meridian is involved in order to drain the heat or cool the heat.
Is it glutamine?
That was a great reply. How to reverse gambling addiction in the brain. That's a new one. How do you know it's in the brain?
Well, all addictions are in the brain, and that's actually easier to treat than anything else because it is an addiction. And so what we do is there's magnets that we put. There's 5 points. So we choose 2 points in each ear, and we put magnets on the ear, and you leave the magnets in 30 to 60 minutes.
Well, it looks like your bird is working on your ears right now.
Yeah, he's trying to eat my hat.
Oh man, that is too cute. Okay, let's see what else. This is we got to do this once a month, Doc. How can I heal? Oh, here's the next question. How can I heal my rheumatoid arthritis in my hands?
Okay, so obviously acupuncture would be the obvious answer, but since you're probably in New York and I'm here in Florida, what I would do is I would send you magnets with a chart and show you how to tape the magnets on the points. So arthritis in your fingers is quite common. So there's about 8 points that we would use, and I would show you. I'd send you a diagram, and you'd you'd tape the magnets from the point every night. You'd go to bed, and in the morning, you take them off.
Doc, got another question.
Okay.
Oh, how's your head feel now? Feels better? She wants to know, can she use tuning forks on pressure points?
Absolutely.
Next question: how to reduce clicking of the joints, ankles?
Okay, so that is dehydration. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 points in the ankles. And again, I would send you magnets. I would show you right where to put them, and then I would send you herbs specifically for the joints. The ankle is related to the kidney, so I would send you a kidney tonic, and I would tell you how to hydrate, and then I would give you Qigong exercises to do.
What about how to heal from panic attacks?
Oh, now question: what can be done about panic attacks?
Ooh, panic attacks. That's my favorite. I used to have panic attacks. So meditation is the best way to deal with panic attacks.
I'm enjoying watching. Family, if you're enjoying watching Doc get attacked by his bird, put it in the comments, because this is really, you can't make this up. This is awesome.
Yeah, he just wants attention.
Yeah, I think he's actually listening to the show too. Because when I mentioned him, he moved up to your shoulder like, yeah, that's right. I'm representing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take care of his hat.
Meditation.
Did you touch on the panic?
Oh yeah, the panic attacks is meditation. So there's breathing, there's chanting, and there's meditation.
Thanks, Doc. Okay, we want you back, so we're not going to burn too hard on a Thursday. You did an hour and a half. You did an hour and 40 minutes. I want to thank you for being with us tonight, because we were talking straight. Oh, we got one more question.
Okay, Lewis, you got to call me personally. You got to call me personally.
Okay, next one. Here's a question. How to fix my brain from ADHD and impulse control.
Okay.
That sounds like a phone call too.
Okay, well, actually, that's going to be Qigong. So it's going to be a phone call. We're going to do a Zoom, and then I'm going to prescribe Qigong exercises for you for your ADHD and your impulse control. And if you if you're consistent with the daily practice of Qigong, then you will have both of those issues handled.
Doc, let's do it once a month. This is awesome, bro. I want to thank you, Dr. Love. I want to thank you, Diana Farr, because this is Diana Farr's master mix. That's what I'll call it. Master mix, right off the top of my bird brain. We got your contact information, Dr. Love. And family, I want to thank you for all your support. Like, subscribe, share, and we put that pyramid up here. Here it is right there. And for those of you who like networking during the week, here is the QR code. And we'll see you all soon. I want to thank everyone. If you missed out, this is a recording and you can hear it again later, because the knowledge Dr. Love has is so vast. And the way you move, man, you move like a teenager, bro. So God bless your wife, because you look like you don't need much sleep, brother. And tell her I said, hey, aloha from Brooklyn.
You listening, Kat? No, she's not listening.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you again, and we're going to do this on a monthly basis. Family, we want to thank you. And any last word you want to say?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I want to thank Mikael, Brother Merriweather, for his gift. I'm grateful to Hank for giving me the opportunity to share the information. I'm grateful to Diana Farr, who, like, 40 years ago, we were like really close friends for about
That
2
is so cool.
and then we just fell out of contact. So it's really interesting.
Hey, Lewis, you got to look at the ticker tape at the bottom of the screen. All the information's there, bro. Louis Ashiro. Dr. Love's number is rolling right on the bottom. And you got a lot of people who have full of gratitude, man. So, yeah, we're going to do this at least once a month. You know, you got folks thanking, folks are from everywhere. What does this say here? I do a lot of intuitive sacred movement that I feel aligns with Qigong. Just started following Dr. Love. Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, you should follow me on Instagram. So there's a sister in Oakland, California, who does something called neuromuscular integrative something or other. So one of my Qigong students happened to hear about her, sent me her information, and she had a class online. And I said, sis, everything you're doing is Qigong, and you did it intuitively without any training. She said, but I want to get certified. So that was just like 2 days ago. So now I have a new student who's going to get her certification as a medical Qigong instructor. So, so Trell Hayes, follow me on Instagram, DRQILOVE.
Oh, let me put that up there, Doc. Hold on a second. Let me add that. And I'm going to save this because you're going to be coming back. Instagram. Hold on. Instagram. Go ahead. What is it on Instagram?
DRQI LOVE.com. Oh, no, just DRQ.
Yeah, got you. All right, save and then post. Here it comes right here. I think it's, yeah, there it is. So family, take a look. Wow, the questions, yeah, Dr. Love, here it is right here. All right, that's Instagram.
So if you go to loveqigong.com, that is how to register for my daily class. I do an online streaming class every day, 7:30 to 8:30, Monday through Friday.
Oh, that birdie looks like she's doing bird Qigong in your hat. Somebody said they were wondering where the bird calls were coming from. That's too cute. All right, family. I want to thank you again, Doc. Thank you and see you soon.
Okay.
Om Shanti Om.